Welcome back to the channel. We are actually at a different desk today. This is the desk that's in the background when I film 20 questions interviews, and we are going to talk about my traveler's journal. I know lots of people have traveler's journals in this community, both in like the journaling community, but also the fountain pen community and even the watercolor community. They're a very popular journal, and I, for a long time, was on the fence about getting one. And then I ended up getting a good deal on one secondhand, and so I ended up picking it up. And I really, really like mine. I've had it for about 5 months at this point, 5 or 6 months, and I absolutely adore it. So we're going to talk about which journal I have, what inserts I use, and sort of how I use it. So if that interests you, I hope you stick around. So this is the passport size in brown. It's still got the brown elastic on it, and I really like it. It's lovely. I do use leather conditioner on it every couple months, mostly on the spine, and I just, like, I want to keep this from sort of cracking or anything. You don't have to, but it's generally good leather practice for other items to condition and take care of them. And so even though they don't say you have to, I just use the same leather care that I use for any other leather items in my collection. Inside, we always have the folder. I don't love this folder. I wish it was either the canvas or the plastic zipper, but I couldn't find either of them at any store or at the Chicago Pen Show, and so I ended up settling on the paper one just so that I had folders in this, and it has worked fairly well. I am still on the lookout for the other folders that I would prefer to have, but for now it just gives me sort of a place to stash stuff. I currently have stickers from Kari Bullet Journal in here from when she came to visit, and I just have my general notebook stuck in here. This is a quote from my favorite notebook growing up, which was a Hallmark Dr. Seuss notebook. And I love this quote because all of my traveler's notebooks are decorated. I decorate the covers of them so that I know at a glance what every notebook is. I really like it. So this one is all sort of general notes, but also the beginning of it is Chicago Pen Show. I'm also on the very last page of this, so it will not be coming with me to the Atlas Sidewalk sale. It will be replaced by something new, so I'm going to have to figure out a new quote for the front. This is the dotted insert, which I love. I'm not a huge fan of lined paper, but I'm also not a big fan of blank paper, so their dotted insert is definitely the way to go. And I also haven't tried their lightweight paper. People keep telling me I need to. I haven't tried it yet. I am a fan of 2 of their inserts. There are 2 I really like. There are 2 I keep buying because I really like them, and we're going to talk about those 2. The first one is the dot. In the dot, I have a general notebook. I have one that I just use for watercolor videos, which is nowhere near as sort of decorated as my other ones, purely because I'm having a lot of trouble figuring out the black and white decorations for it. My watercolor notebook decorations tend to be very colorful, but for all the traveler's covers, they've all been black and white, and so I'm trying to stick with the black and white theme, and I'm really struggling. So for now, it's just got a couple sketches on it, and I've used it for, so this was for the grays video. It shows which grays I'd already used, and then what colors I had to pull for grays number 4. And I like this because it means when I'm on the go, I've got a notebook with me where I can write down stuff as I'm pulling colors or making notes. I can be using my phone to look at a spreadsheet while also making notes on something separate. I do love having a separate notebook for video planning, but also like having my watercolor videos separate from my fountain pen videos because they are 2 very different videos when it comes to planning. Next, we have my baking insert. I am quasi dairy-free with a whole bunch of other food restrictions because of chemo in my teens, and so lots of recipes need tweaking. And so whenever I bake, I make notes on those tweaks, and so this is our basic focaccia recipe, and then I, you know, write down everything I do so that if we like the recipe that time, I know exactly what I've done. And I've also got like a running list of ideas of things I want to do. And then many pages of notes every time I bake. I like having notes. I've grown up in a family that's always like made notes directly in cookbooks. And I do some of that, but I do like, especially when I'm still like experimenting with tweaks to a recipe, making notes in a separate book. This one is decorated. I don't love the decorations on this as much as the next one. The next one, I truly outdid myself. And I also can't show you anything inside of it. So this is my ink trades and swaps notebook. So every time I do an ink trade with somebody, this is their addresses and what I need to pull and what their name is. And I adore the cover on this one. I sketched it all out in pencil one evening and then I inked it and it was great. For all of these, I just did them in pencil and then I used my Hongdian Forest in extra fine with Sailor Black ink in it to do them all, and it was so much fun because it's just sort of a way to be creative that isn't inside of a sketchbook. I don't love working inside of a sketchbook, but I absolutely adore doing these covers. I absolutely love the postage stamps, and it will continue for whatever the next cover is. I guess the next cover is a new like brain dump notebook, so I'm gonna have to think up some ideas. We also have 2 blank dot grids because I buy them in sets, and so I think I must have bought a set of 3, and so I've got 2 left. So one will become my next brain dump. One will also then probably come with me to Chicago just in case I need an extra notebook for anything. I've got it with me. I do really like these notebooks, and it's just the Midori paper. I haven't tried the Traveler's Notebook. I haven't tried I guess it's the Tomori River paper that they also do in them. I haven't tried that yet. I sort of find something I like and stick to it. So I might try it, but I'm also pretty happy with what I have. In the blank notebooks, they're labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. If you've been around this channel for a bit, you know what's in these already. These are my ink swatching notebooks. So these are every ink I own, but also every ink I've ever sampled, either on an ink swatching table or from a friend's collection. And I have them all swatched out on the same paper. And I absolutely love it because if it means I ever want to look for a color, I can just like flip through these books. And yeah, there's no order in how they're in these books. I'm almost done number 3. I've already stamped out number 4, so number 3 and number 4 are both coming with me to Chicago. All the private reserve from Kari Bullet Journal. I love Arabian Rose. Oh, so much fun. And Monteverde Lion. Monteverde Lion is pretty great too. So these are the only things I use blank ones for. I don't love to sketch, but I do love that tiny little Totoro ink stamp from Studio Ghibli. It's not actually Totoro, but it's, when you buy it from Studio Ghibli, it's called the Totoro ink stamp. And it's great. I love it. And I love that I can fit sort of 2 of them on each page. You've got 4 on a spread. It works really well for me. And I like having all the inks both in my collection and I've sampled on the same paper because it means you know what you own, how what you own looks like compared to what you're looking at from somebody else. The only other Traveler's Insert I have is a watercolor insert. You'll notice this is still in its package. This is coming with me to Chicago and on our vacation afterwards because I'm hoping I will use it. I purchased this actually before the Chicago Pen Show, and I picked it up at the Chicago Pen Show. I thought I would have used it by now. I haven't. I haven't even taken it out of its package. I just tend to reach for other watercolor paper, honestly, when I'm in the studio, but I'm wondering if the fact that I'm traveling means that I am going to reach for it, so we'll find out. Hopefully I'll try it before I get to Atlas, because if I do, it means I can pick up more at Atlas if I like them. I also have a couple more blank inserts that came with the notebook, and I think I also picked up a couple at Atlas at the Chicago Pen Show. I like the blank inserts just for swatching. But as a little book, I adore this. It fits in my purse. It's great. And I like that you can get so many different papers. I am thinking about getting the 14-month calendar for it because I currently don't have a calendar in my bag just due to space reasons. So I'm thinking about getting the 14-month undated calendar. If you've got the 14-month undated calendar, I'd love to hear what you think about it because I am seriously considering getting it as an insert. I don't think I want the weekly just because I have so many things often going on. Like, I don't need the weekly. It's often times that I only have one thing going on every day. But I think the calendar would be a good thing to have. So it's sort of odd not to have a calendar in your bag. Because I also don't use the calendar on my phone. So I love this. It's great. If I ever find another one secondhand, I will probably end up picking it up. I think probably in either size I would end up picking it up, just because I do genuinely really like it. And well, I don't think I would use the big size for like day-to-day writing like I do this one. I think I would use it quite a lot in video stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have a traveler's notebook. Have you been on the fence about them because of all the hype about them? I definitely was. And I'm really glad that I finally got one because it is so useful and so helpful, and I genuinely adore it. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.